November 3, 2023 is an court order. May we request our head back secretariat, Engineer Anel Portales, to please read the rules of attendance and the agenda previous conference, including the basic contract date.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Our attendance for today's meeting for the pre-bid conference of Contract ID 23EF0115 and 23EF0116, November 3, 2023. Sir Eugenio Artaton, Back Chairman.
Present.
Ma'am Mary Ayayo, Back Member.
Present.
Ma'am Maria Peccayo, Back Member.
Present.
And yours truly, Arnel Portales. Okay. Our pre-agenda, pre-bid conference for today's meeting for the pre-bid conference of Contract ID number 23EF0115, construction of Riverbank protection control dike along Abo-Abo River in Sofronio, Espanñola, Palawan. And 23EF0116, construction of Riverbank protection control dike along Colby River, Rizal, Palawan. Today, November 3, 2023, our first agenda, number 1, presentation, explanation by of the following. Letter A, basic contract data, including contract description, ABC, and duration. And letter B, requirements, bidding documents, including instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, specifications, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. And letter C, documents to be submitted by the bidders. Under the letter C, we have number 1, technical component envelope, and under that, we have the Class A documents. Letter A, legal documents. Letter B, technical documents, and letter C, financial documents, and letter D, Class B documents. For under letter C, we have number 2, financial component envelope. Under that, we have A, financial bid form. Letter B, bid prices and the BOQ. Letter C, detailed estimate. D, cash flow by quarter. And letter D, we have the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. And for number 2 agenda, we have the questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. Letter C, summary of proceedings, including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued. And number 4, other matters. That's all, Mr. Chairman. Tuloy-tuloy ko na lang. Okay. For contract ID number 23EF0115, contract name, construction of Riverbank protection river control dike along Abo-Abo River, open and close, left side. Contract location, Sofronio, Espanñola, Palawan. And brief description, we have construction of 200 mm thick reinforced concrete revetment with steel sheet piles and segmental wall. Approved budget for the contract, 96,500,000. Source of funds, FY 2023 GAA and program appropriation. And contract duration, 214 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 50,000. Pick-up license for size range, medium A. Next, contract ID 23EF0116. Contract name, construction of Riverbank protection Riverbank Protection River Control Dike along Colby River, open and close, right side. Contract location, Rizal, Palawan. Brief description, construction of 200 mm thick reinforced concrete revetment with steel sheet piles and segmental wall every 20 meters. Approved budget for the contract, 96,500,000. Source of fund, FY 2023 JA and Program Appropriation. Contract duration, 214 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 50,000. Pickup license for size range, medium A. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Yes. May we request Engineer Maya to please discuss the requirements of bidding documents and the criteria and procedure for eligibility check. Preliminary examination bids, needed information bids, post qualification for.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My first topic is the requirements of bidding documents, which include the instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, specifications, drawing, bill of quantities, and forms. For the instruction to bidders, the bidders must submit their technical and financial components sealed envelope into one bid envelope. All interested bidders may acquire a complete set of bidding documents at Procurement Unit Office, Back Building, DPWH, Palawan 2nd DO, Nara, Palawan, upon payment of applicable fee for bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the DPPB to the amount stated by our Head of Procurement, Engineer Arnold Portales, and the basic contract data, or it may also be downloaded free of charge from DPWH's website, www.dpwh.gov.ph, and from the Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System or PhilGEP's website, www.philgeps.gov.ph, provided that the bidder shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than submission of these. For bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to the manual submission, the guidelines for preparation and submission of electronic bid are obtained in the bidding documents. Bids must be received by the Back Secretariat through at the DPWH building, 2nd floor, back room, Nara, Palawan for manual submission, or at electronic bids, Palawan 2 at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission. All bids must be accompanied by bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 16. For bid submission, the contractor's representative shall submit the copy of contractor's registration certificate or the CRC or special power of attorney, together with government-issued ID. Bid opening shall be on November 16, 10 a.m. at DPWH 2nd floor, Backroom, Nara, Palawan. Bid will be opened in the presence of the bidder's representatives who choose to attend the activity. Late bids shall not be accepted. For the general conditions of the contract or the GCC, the purpose is to provide standard terms and provisions for the contract applicable in all contracts in general without detailed information and data specific to the contract at hand. The GCC defines the contractual requirements and obligations of both the procuring entity and the contractor at hand. For the obligation of the procuring entity, the agency will provide you with the plans, specification, inspections, and tests. For the contractor's obligation, number 1 is to carry out works per contract in accordance with the plans and specification within the contract duration. Number 2, the contractor shall employ the key personnel indicating their designation in accordance with ITB Clause 10.3 and specified in the PDS to carry out the supervision of works. The procuring entity will approve any proposed replacement of key personnel only if the relevant qualifications and abilities are equal to or better than those of the personnel listed in the schedule. Number 3, the posting of performance security. This shall guarantee the contractor's performance of its contract obligations up to the certificate of acceptance after the tax liability period and upon submission of the required warranty security if acceptable. The performance security shall also guarantee the recoupment of any advance payment. It must be posted in favor of the procuring entity and shall be forfeited in the latter's favor if it is established that the winning bidder is in default in any of its obligations under the contract. The DCC shall remain unchanged. Hindi ito nagbabago yung ating general conditions of the contract. Kaya meron tayong special conditions of the contract. The purpose is to provide contract specification information in relation to the corresponding clauses in the general conditions of the contract. The SCC shall specify contractual requirements linked to the special circumstances of the procuring entity and works procured. Some contents of the SCC are the intended completion and start date, required description of works, type of structures, and warranty period, amount and schedule of advance payment. Contractors' key personnel equipment requirements are stated in the bid data sheets. For the specifications, the specification shall reflect necessary minimum requirements. It should promote the broadest possible competition while assuring structural integrity and performance of the infrastructure. For DPWH contracts, DPWH standard specifications for public works and highways or the Blue Book. It shall be the basis standards to be met by the materials and works to be performed. Since yung ating project ay flood control, meron tayong volume 3 for flood control and drainage. Standard pay items that PCMA is used. Modifications in the DPWH standard specification shall be the special provisions of the contract at hand. For the drawings, ito yung ating plano. It varies with the type and nature of the contract and the works involved. It represents in accordance with accepted national and international standards and practices for infrastructure contracts based on the data engineering which form part of design outputs. It consists of layouts, plans, profiles, elevation, sections, site location, and perspective in sufficient detail and scale complemented by specs to enable the bidder or the contractor to gain clear, accurate presentation of required works. It is also a reference or guide in the implementation of the project. For the bill of quantities or BOQ, the purpose is to provide sufficient information on the quantities of works to be performed under contract at hand, to enable the bidder to prepare bids efficiently and accurately. Yung BOQ po natin ay may 6 columns. Columns 1 to 4 is to be filled up by the procuring entity, and columns 5 to 6 to be filled up by the bidder. The bidder shall not change the entries under copy item, which is in column 1, description in column 2, unit in column 3, and quantity in column 4, which are set by the procuring entity for each item in the BOQ. The bidder shall indicate its unit bid price in words and in figures in column 5, and its total bid price in column 6. Kailangan po magkatugma po ang inyong words and in figures. The PWG will check your submitted BOQ from posted BOQ. Any discrepancy in your submitted BOQ is modification of bidding documents and it is patently insufficient. Lagi rin po kayo mag-update ng posting sa affiliates. Baka po merong bid bulletin sa ating mga BOQ at may pagbabago sa previous posting. For the forms, ang lahat ng ating forms ay standard and updated At lahat ng ating requirements sa bidding documents na ito ay nakapost sa PhilJeps and DPWH's website na pwede niyo po i-download for free. That's all, Mr. Chairman, for the requirements sa bidding documents. And my next topic is the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. For eligibility check, meron po tayong manual checking and electronic checking. Manual checking procedure will be conducted by the GAP. The criteria is the non-discretionary pass-fail criteria or presence and absence of required documents. Any missing or expired documents means ineligible. For the procedure, the Bids and Awards Committee will check manually the submitted legal and financial documents in the first envelope, as discussed in the requirements for technical envelope. Legal documents such as PhilJeps, Certificate of Registration, SEC-DEI or CDA registration, Mayor's or Business Permit, Tax Clearance for Executive Order 398 Series of 2005. Financial documents such as audited financial statement and computation of debt financial contracting capacity or NFCC. Missing or expired documents means failed or ineligible in the manual eligibility check. For the electronic checking of eligibility, criteria is validity of all submitted documents, legal and financial at CWA. Procedure, the Bids and Awards Committee will submit the list of bidders who submitted their bids to CWA or Civil Works Administrator. The Civil Works Administrator will check the bidders' eligibility electronically using the system. Contractors compile eligibility process or CPEP. The GAP will receive a copy of the result of the electronic eligibility check. Legal eligibility documents should be updated to CWA. Expired documents means failed or ineligible. Number 2 is the preliminary examination of bids. The first envelope, which is the technical documents. The criteria is non-discretionary pass-fail criteria or presence and absence of documents. Any missing documents means failed, if present means passed. The procedure is that the Bids and Awards Committee shall open the first envelope to determine the bidder's compliance for eligibility. Technical and financial documents required as prescribed in IRR of RA 9184. The BAC shall check the submitted documents of each bidder against a checklist to ascertain that they are present, using the non-discretionary criterion as stated in the instruction to bidders. If a bidder submitted the required documents, it shall be rated passed for that particular requirement. For bids that fail to include the requirement or are incomplete or patently insufficient, shall be rated failed. Any missing or expired document means failed or automatically disqualified. For the second envelope, which is the financial documents, the criteria is the same as for the first envelope. Non-discretionary pass-fail criteria are presence and absence of documents. Any missing documents means failed, if present means passed. The procedure. After determining compliance with the first envelope, the BAC shall open the second envelope of the eligible bidder whose first envelope was rated passed. For bidders whose first envelopes were rated failed, their second envelope will not be opened. It will be returned to the bidder unopened. In case any of the requirements in the second envelope is missing, incomplete or patently insufficient, and or if the submitted total bid price exceeds ABC, shall be rated failed. Only bids that contain all bid requirements of all components shall be rated passed. The above item is in the opening and preliminary stage. For the detailed evaluation of bids, which is conducted by the PWG, for bids, the mga bids na open, read, and rated passed. The purpose is to determine the lowest calculated bid The TWG will establish the correct calculated prices and bids and rank the calculated total bid prices from lowest to highest. The criteria is the completeness of bid. All blanks in bid forms were properly filled up. For the procedure, the back TWG will check all the required items in bidding documents. This includes the following: unit price or cost of item from the POQ, which is in column 5 and 6. Placing no price, that means column not filled up. No amount offered failed to place a price for items of work is considered as non-responsive, while specifying a zero or dash. Amount of zero is for the same items of work. It is offered for free. It is responsive. Next is the minor arithmetical corrections in case of discrepancies between bid price in figures versus bid price in words. In words will prevail. Total price per item versus total sum of prices of component items. The total sum of prices of component items will prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate versus unit cost in the bill of quantities. The unit cost in the bill of quantities will prevail. All of these items will be considered by the TWG during detailed evaluation stage. For the post-qualification, which is also conducted by the technical working group, to determine whether the bidder or bid the lowest calculated bid complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions of eligibility and the bidding of the contract to declare the lowest calculated responsive bid. The criteria is validity of submitted documents, including availability and status of required major equipments. Procedure is during the post-qualification, the BAC shall determine the bidders for compliance through number 1, verification and validation of the bidders' competence and experience, including the declared single largest completed contract or the LCC, similar to the contract being procured. Number 2, verification of competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the contract as against the minimum requirements under the bid leadership. If the proposed key personnel, technical personnel, is an employee of the bidder and working in another project and type of bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract. He or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office pursuant to Department Order Number 9 Series of 2012. The proposed personnel and replacement must be named in the bidding document. Number 3 is the verification of availability and commitment and inspection and testing of the required capacities and operating conditions of major equipment units to be owned, leased under purchase by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding. Yung ating po yung model testing equipment units ay included dito sa inyong major equipments. Number 4, checking of the performance of the bidder in its ongoing government and private contracts. If any of these ongoing contracts shows letter A, a reported negative slippage of at least 15% in a single contract. Letter B, a reported negative slippage of at least 10% in the 2 or more contracts. Letter C, failure of the contractor to commence repair works on ongoing contracts within 7 days and to complete them within 30 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. Letter D, failure of the contractor to commence repair works in contracts with pending certificate of acceptance within 30 days and to complete the works within 90 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures. Letter E, substandard quality of works as per contract and specifications. Letter F, unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspections. And the last is the credited damages currently imposed on the contractor. The results. Number 5 is the results of the contractor's performance evaluation system, or the CPES, should also be considered by the concerned bank in determining the responsiveness of the contractor's bid before any award of the contract can take place, stated in Item 12.6 Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. If the bank verifies any of these deficiencies to be due to the contractor's fault or negligence, the agency shall disqualify the contractor from the award for the procurement of the infrastructure projects. Legal documents, which is authenticity and validity of licenses, permits, certificates, and agreements, shall be submitted. Kung kayo ay kailangan mo, hindi kayo blacklisted for the award. After the post-qualification, if the bank found that the bidder complies with all the requirements described in the IRR of RA 9184, the bank shall recommend to the HOPE or the head of the procuring entity the award of contract to the lowest calculated responsive bid. The winning bidder will receive a notice of award from the HOPE. That's all, Mr. Chairman, for the criteria and procedure for the eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award.
Thank you, Engineer Kaya, for the information. May we request Madam Maria Yayo to please discuss further the documents to be submitted by the bidders.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Here are the documents to be submitted by the participating bidders for these two contract ID 23EF0115 and 23EF0116. For technical component envelope, we have two classification of documents to be submitted, and that is one Class A documents and, if applicable, Class B documents. Under po sa Class A documents, meron pa pong 3 types of documents, and that is number 1, legal documents, 2, technical documents, and 3, financial documents. So what are the documents to be submitted under legal documents? Number 1, valid Philjips registration certificate, platinum membership, complete in 3 pages. Number 2, registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Department of Trade and Industry for sole proprietorship, or Cooperative Development Authority, CDA, for cooperatives or its equivalent document. For corporation, pakiusap lang po, please include also your general information sheet. And number 3, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. And number 4, tax clearance per Executive Order number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, number 1, statement of prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Number 2, statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Number 3, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board or PICAB license or special PICAB license in case of joint ventures and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. Number 4, original copy of bid security. If in the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. Number 5, project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' key personnel such as project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. List of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreement supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. And also the list of materials testing equipment apparatus or certification of or from technical working group as proof na ang inyong pong material testing equipment apparatus ay complete na and already inspected by the technical working group. Then number 6, original duly signed omnibus term statement and if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the omnibus term statement and do acts to represent the bidder. For financial documents, number 1, the prospective bidder's audited financial statements showing among others the prospective bidder's total and current assets and the liabilities, stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. And number 2, the prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity, NFCC. For Class B documents, this is only if applicable. Duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with Republic Act number 4566 and its implementing rules and regulation in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the joint venture agreement in the instance that the bid is successful. For financial component envelope, ito naman po ang dapat ninyong isubmit. Number 1, original, duly signed, and accomplished financial bid form. Number 2, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantity. Number 3, duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rental used in coming up with a bid. And number 4, cash flow by quarter. So please, paalala lang po sa lahat ng mga interested bidders that all documents to be submitted must be filled out completely in clear copies, readable, paginated, and duly signed by the bidder. Please take note that any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient document in the above-mentioned checklist is a ground for outright rejection of your bid. So that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Ayala, for the clear information and well-defined explanation. Since no prospective bidder at the back room, we will now proceed on the next agenda. For the summary of proceedings, the NAP chairman will convene the bids and awards committee members to conduct the bid opening of the following activities. The first activity is the preliminary examination of the technical component, followed by the preliminary examination, then the eligibility checking done electronically through the PWD Civil Works application, followed by the preliminary examination of the financial component, and finally, the announcement of the results, meriting the abstract of bids. Engineer Portales, do we have supplemental bid bulletins issued?
So far dito sa dalawang project nito, wala pa akong na bid bulletin. Kung sakali lang, hindi paki-check lang ninyo sa total meron pa tayong 12 calendar days before opening, di ba? Paki-check lang sa website ng PGF o sa DPWH kung magkakaroon na ng bid bulletin, focus lang natin yun.
Noted. This ends our pre-bid conference. The back meetings of the joint.
Okay. Sana pakipos mo ulit.